All eyes on Doge. Big run up. To the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big run up. To the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.60. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
Everybody, Kriss here. Welcome on a Saturday afternoon. How's everybody doing? We're hanging out together on the weekend. Weakness in the crypto market as predicted by CrissPax. Of course, for the weekend, this is exactly what I thought would be happening. So today we're going to talk about how you can position yourselves for what I believe is an upcoming bull run this fall. There are many who don't think that this is going to happen, but I think most still are believers in the 4-year cycles and that there will be a coming bull run. And so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about how to position yourself and how to be ready, and maybe what not to do, right? Because, I mean, you could buy anything, right? You can buy everything. You buy one of everything, right? And then you've got it all. Not realistic, but there are some things you just got to scratch your head and go, really? You're going to buy that? You think that's the thing that's going to run? So we're going to be talking about all of that. Right now, as we start, Dogecoin is at 21.3. It looks like it has bounced off of this upward sloping support line that we have been watching for a month now. We've been on this roll here. And Doge is about where it was here yesterday morning when we had the big drop because of the jobs data in the United States. And so we're at 21.3. Now, interesting, we've got this other thing, right? This World Liberty Finance, which is now up at 21.3. It's actually up a little higher now, 21.5. Somebody's buying World Liberty Finance, and it's kind of going on a run right now. And I'm like, okay, is this where you want to be? You want to be buying this after a 20% run with all of the problems that it's happening with wallets getting locked? And do you really want to buy this? Haven't we learned before, anything with crypto involving the Trump family tends to not do well, right? So that's one. We also have NMR. This is one that we looked at yesterday. And today it goes on a 45% run. Actually, it was up over 50%, but it now looks to be selling off. So I think this is a short-term thing. But yeah, yesterday during the live stream, we were looking at NMR because this guy in the chat was saying, this is the one, right? And I was just like, really? But it was down here at $13 and it came up over $20 today, but is now selling back off. So took out a bunch of shorts on the way up. And now all of those late traders who came in to try and run this thing up with a leveraged long are now getting wiped out as the price is coming back down. So we've got that. And then we've got this other one called SOMI. I have no idea what this was. SOMI, never heard of it. Well, SOMI went up 65% today. And it is still going up on this one, trying to get to $1. Yesterday at this time, this thing was trading at about 55 cents. So 55 cents to $1 in a day. Now we think Doge can do that. With enough FOMO and momentum, we could see Doge ride the big wave like this sometime this fall. That's what we're going to be watching for. Now, Doge has a huge market cap compared to this thing, so probably easier for this thing to run. But then right now, this thing is just continuing to take out shorts, and we're watching the shorts on this. Already $1.5 million in shorts have been taken out over the past 4 hours on SOMI, which I've never heard of this thing. Low market cap coin, but it trades on Binance, so it gets longed, it gets shorted, right? So that's one. But all of this action is happening now. Do you want to buy this now? If you were buying for the fall up here at 95 cents? So there's that. Bitcoin is weak. So Bitcoin is weak right now. And of course, you've got Ben Cowan looking at the bonds, right? And he's looking at the job data and looking at the Fed interest rates and predicting that there is going to be a downturn, right? It's already hit his bull market support band, I guess. I thought it was 108, but he now says it's 110. So maybe it went up. I don't know. But he thinks there's going to be a little weakness here in Bitcoin, then a recovery in Bitcoin over alts. And we're going to see Bitcoin dominance go up before then the alt season. We'll see how that plays out. Ethereum has been sideways. I mean, look at this thing, just sideways for 2 straight days. It's not moving. Not moving. And then we've got some other weakness. We have PENGU also kind of drifting down, now at 2.8 cents. So it shows some signs of life, and then it sells back off. So the market makers are in control of PENGU too. Every time it starts to go on a run, you get long leverage traders coming in thinking, oh, this is the big move. And then the market makers take over, pound the price back down, and take out all that leverage trading. So that's what we've got for PENGU. Then we've got BONK, also weak. We have weakness in BONK as well. It's below the 20 line here, back down to 19. So not a lot of movement on BONK. And then we also have pump as well for those that got on the pump train with me. After this big run that it's had, it's now coming down a little bit, but still it just went on this big run. So maybe it'll come down to a point where you think you might want to buy this on a dip before it runs up. And then the other one that I do own still is Peak. We haven't looked at Peak in a while here, but here's Peak. And Peak actually today is up 4%. So starting to see a little glimmer of hope for all of the Peak holders out there, but they continue to mint new tokens every month, and I'm not expecting much out of this. So that's where we start today. Sentiment is looking at the top trending coins like Bitcoin and ETH and Doge. Interesting that Tether is trending. It's like, Tether? Really? Tether? How does Tether become trending, right? I guess if you're in a red market and things are going down, if you're holding Tether, you're winning, right? Yay, Tether. Let's go. Let's go, Tether. Bitcoin had started looking like, according to Trader Allen, looked like we had done the downtrend and we were starting an uptrend. But since Allen has posted this, it's kind of fallen out of this uptrend. So it looks like we're just going to bounce sideways for a bit here. Meanwhile, the M2 money supply continues to go up. Excuse me. While Bitcoin is going sideways. these guys continue to say Bitcoin is going to follow the M2 money supply. But right now, it's showing divergence here. So that divergence doesn't show that this is going to continue to follow. With ETH now, as ETH is just trending sideways here, zoomed out a little more, it looks like it's in the sideways channel going back a couple weeks after it hit its all-time high up here. So that's showing not weakness, but not strength. It's kind of meh, right, with ETH. But ETH is still on the lower end of this channel. So if someone is expecting ETH to go on a big run, might be a good time to buy. So there's ETH. Meanwhile, what's going to happen with Bitcoin dominance? So Crypto Rover is showing that Bitcoin dominance has topped and is expecting this big drop to happen in Bitcoin dominance, and it's not going to recover back up and hit again. So we are in the fourth year of the 4-year cycles. There was a little run in Bitcoin dominance here in 2019, but that's when the altcoins were really, really weak before the big, first 2020 when ETH started moving, and then 2021 when we had the big run for Doge and everybody was piling into alts in 2021, and we had that huge drop in Bitcoin dominance. Is that in the cards here for the coming few months? That means you need to position yourself in alts. More on that in just a minute. Meanwhile, in the 4-year cycles, Alan continues, right? We've had these big runs, 2017, 2021, and yet we still haven't had the huge blow-off run in Dogecoin in 2025. We had a nice little run in 2024, sold back down during the spring, hit a bottom of 13 cents in April. We were buying Dogecoin. We were accumulating Dogecoin. And even here at 20-21 cents, still an opportunity to accumulate Dogecoin if you believe in the 4-year cycles. This is the pattern. The pattern repeats. This is what we're looking at coming for Doge. And Ali, in the short term, he's saying, look, this 20.9 cent thing is a real thing. It is a solid support that has hit a few times over the past couple weeks. And so here we are again, coming down in the price of Doge. Right now, 21.3, we're not touching 20.9 yet. But Ali's starting to say, well, maybe that 17 cent thing he said last week isn't really happening, because now it's looking like that line is really solid support. All right. So what does that mean for today and what we're talking about today? Today, we're talking about how you're going to allocate your portfolio for the coming bull run, of which I believe we're still having a big bull run coming. This morning's video talked about the upcoming catalysts for Dogecoin with kind of a tepid kind of response, because these aren't the greatest companies supporting Dogecoin yet, right? These are all mid companies, right? Or even a little bit less than mid so far that are supporting Dogecoin. But once we get Grayscale and Bitwise behind Doge, now that is big time. And that is middle of October. So between now and then, rate cuts, again, showed almost 100% certain now that there is going to be a rate cut in less than 2 weeks now. US Fed is going to lower interest rates. That's almost a certainty now. But the markets aren't pumping because of that. I think now, oh, it's all priced in. No, it'll still pump. I think it'll still pump. We got a week and a half to wait for that. Then we got to get through the worst days of trading for Bitcoin on September 21st and September 24th that I also showed in this morning's video. Again, another banger of a video. You guys got to keep up. Got to keep up on my videos, man. So we have that. And then we just got to get into October. So I'm still believing in that big run. So what does this mean? Well, Danny Krypton says he just sold his entire bag of Bitcoin and ETH. Why would he sell his Bitcoin and his ETH? He is a believer that altcoins from here are going to outperform both ETH and Bitcoin. And I know ETH is also an altcoin, but as we said, looking at the path to alt season, this is what has happened the past couple cycles is first Bitcoin goes on a run, then ETH, then large caps, and then the full alt season. On the large caps, only some of them have moved, not really all of them. We haven't had a huge large cap kind of movement. There have been a few, like Link went on a run. Again, that was a catalyst for Link. But overall, we didn't really have a huge large cap run. But this guy's saying he's going into alts, like all into alts. And if the market is anything like 2021, again, we would have Bitcoin dominance take a nosedive. And we would have others, altcoin market cap, go on a huge run coming up this fall. So where are you going to put your money? How are you going to allocate? I'm expecting Doge, obviously, and I'm expecting some other memes like BONK, PENGU, and the pump is for the fun of it. I'm not buying these things, though. I mean, this guy's like Flare, Drift, Sonic, Akash, Ether, however you pronounce that, AIXBT, and Ina. Ina's already gone on a huge run. And he says Fetch AI and Tau and Virtual. These are the ones he's picking. But how wide do you want to go with your portfolio chasing different alts, and which are the right ones to be in if alts really do outperform ETH and Bitcoin? So this is the opportunity to be thinking about these things. How do you want to allocate yourself? Since most of us already hold Dogecoin, we're thinking, well, maybe I should hold some ETH with it, maybe some HBAR or Cardano or something like that. Or you're thinking, well, I'm already into the meme. Let's get more memes like Pepe and Whiff and Bonk, and I don't know. So it'll be interesting to hear what you guys think about allocations of your portfolio and what you think is going to go on a big run. And we'll check it out. We'll see how those things are going. And we started off with simply drawing, saying Turbo. We've looked at Turbo before. It isn't one that I typically follow, which is the one that I've been using before. Was it the Coinbase? Might have been the Coinbase one, because I know we've looked at this before. It wasn't the Coinbase one because they didn't list it until after the bull run before. So it's not that. Well, we'll just go to the whole CryptoCom and we'll see where this was. Yeah, so Turbo did huge back here, right? 2024. huge run from Turbo. And then in 2025 crashed almost all the way back down from this big run up over a penny. Now it's 0.003. Yeah, so for 0.003, what do you think, drawing? You think this is going to triple, come back up to a penny? A 3x from here would actually be a pretty good return at this point. We're in September, right, of the fourth of a 4-year cycle. So if Turbo runs up to a penny and you're buying at 0.003, that's pretty good. That's like Doge going to 70 cents or 66 cents from where Doge is now, would be a 3x. So yeah, maybe this will have one of these big runs. It's interesting. This does tend to tends to trade a lot like Doge does, right? It goes on these big runs, right, over short periods of time. So you want to be in this thing, right, when it goes on this run and not chasing it. We've done the same thing with Doge, right? Every time this thing goes on a run, you don't want to chase it. And even a small one here we had in July, right? Same with Doge. So it looks like this still has momentum. Like it can go on another run. So interesting. Unlike something like Doge Elon Mars, right? This thing, man, this thing just bleeds out. And it is continuing to bleed out. And it is at the lowest price now than it has been like ever. It's never been this low. Now, there was, back here in January, there was this run on Doge Elon Mars that went up over 200%. There was this 200% crazy trade up in one day and came all the way back down. You think that's going to happen again for this token? Is that worth allocating part of your portfolio on the slim chance this is going to do something like this? I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure of that. So for 200%, I'd rather hold Doge up to 42 cents. I'd rather hold Doge. But that's just me. That's just me. Pepe. What's Pepe going to do? Pepe is now back to about 9.5. And again, if it comes back down below 9, like we saw back in June, that is going to be a huge buying opportunity for Pepe. It's still below this yellow line, which is the 10 line where it loses a 0 again, but hasn't really done much. On Monday, it did come down to about 9.2. Now it's at about 9.5, thinking that it would at least double and come up to the 2 line up here, where it was trading back here, November, December, and into January, right around that line. So that would be a doubling in price of Pepe from there, from here, where it is now, back up to this line. So interesting. Again, Pepe was like last year's darling. It's not the 2025 token that's going to have like the total blowout, intense gains. People say, oh, give me a good coin to buy now for a 10x return. And I'm like, there's no 10x returns happening. There's from here. There might be some low cap token that might do a 10x from here, but out of the hundreds of thousands of tokens, how do you know which is the one? How do you know which is the one to take? You don't. So, hey, Christo. After rates get cut, the biggest sell the news event ever will happen. Everyone will get wrecked. And then after they wreck, everyone will bring it right back up to sucker everyone back in. That's crypto for you, right? That is crypto. You're right. Starcat, how are you? Do you think it's possible Dogecoin could run for 2 years like Bitcoin after the ETF and treasuries are established? No. Dogecoin has never traded that way. Dogecoin goes on short runs and sells off. Unfortunately, that's what it's always done. And I don't see that changing. We're going to time the next big run and take some profits on Dogecoin. It doesn't hold the gains. When you get the big green candles, it never holds it. Now, for 2 years, could it bounce around, come down, go higher, come down, go higher, and create these higher lows? That's possible, but I just don't think 2026 is going to have that narrative of this extended cycle, super cycle. Bitcoin will be back below 100K in 2026. Doge, ETH, cryptos are going to go down. That's still what I see. So close, but yet so far, demo. So excited, can't wait, but here we are, suffering along, right? Just waiting. Thank you, Bullish Billionaire. Hit the like, hold strong. The Wiki Cat, Mario asks. I have no idea what that is. What is a Wiki Cat? There's a Wiki Cat. Trading about a month and a half on this exchange, whatever this is. Went on a big run here mid-August. Never heard of this. That was a 1,000% run. Nice little 10x right there. And then completely sold off. Well, about half of it, right? Went down 60%, little over half. I don't know. Don't know what this is, Mario. Is this going to be one of those that goes on more runs? We'll see. Pepe up to 0006 at most. Yeah, I don't see it going that high. I think back up to 2, maybe 2.5. Doge. 70 cents would be awesome. There'll be a lot of hype, though. A lot of trading to get Doge back up to that price. Now, if we have this, the huge catalyst, right? We get the wild card like Elon starts talking about Dogecoin. There could be enough momentum to get Doge to $1. But without it, I just don't see that happening. But still, Doge is still only 21 cents today, though. So for it to get to 60 cents, a 3x from here, that's possible. A lot of swing trading. Swing trading is hard when you get into a bear market. You just got to be careful because you don't know where your entry point. Once you do a sell on a green candle, you don't know where your next entry point is going to be because you might buy it too soon and it keeps going lower. And that's not good. Hey, Sunshine, how are you? PopCat, that is PaxCat's favorite coin is PopCat. How is our PopCat doing? It is weak as well, down to 23 cents. All right. Hasn't been there since April. Now, the early April dip went down to about 12. So that would be another 50% drop from here to get down to there. So this is good. Again, we're holding that dip there, the June dip, and now at that same level. That's showing some good support. Now from 23, double to 46. That'll be the July high back up there. Could this get up to 60 or so? That was the peak. Well, at least this year. We go back and we see what it did last November and it went up to $2. That would be a 10x, wouldn't it? How about that, Southport, huh? I mean, if you get this kind of volume of trading coming back, hard to know, like, how much of a blow off bull run are we going to be on this fall? Is there going to be enough liquidity coming into the market? Is there going to be enough fresh dollars, right? Fresh fiat coming in to buy all of these coins? And that's the problem with all these meme tokens. There's so many of them now that they're not all going to do a 3x or a 4x. That's going to be the challenge. Like, yeah, Compo. How are you? Mog, another one. Mog's another one. Same thing. It could go on a huge run. We were looking at this dip that we had in July at about 14, and look at what it's done now. It's all the way down to 8 from 14. It's still not down to the June low of 7. But from 8 back up to this yellow line, which is around 16, would be a double. So double your price there, topped off at 20. Like, how many of these are going to do a 2 or 3x? Again, so many tokens are out there. There's going to be so much competition for investment money coming in to ride these memes. It's hard to think all of them are going to do a 2, 3x. So yeah, I don't know. Manel says memes will pump like in November. Yeah, and that's looking at Danny's chart here, Danny's graph here, where you do that full rotation from Bitcoin to ETH to large caps and then to alt season. And the memes are typically in there. And we're not there yet. We aren't there yet. Again, Doge could have its own catalyst middle of October with the big ETFs, Grayscale and Bitwise. This Rex Osprey one that could be starting to trade next week might give it a little bump, but I think overall the crypto market is still too weak for Doge to go flying up to 30, 40 cents because of that. And again, Rex Osprey is not one of these like mainstream big funds, right? They're kind of like, and a lot of investors don't have access to the Rex Osprey ETF. So I don't know if that's going to be a huge thing. I don't know. Just buy Doge. There is that. Just put it all in Doge. But today we're talking about if you want to have a varied portfolio, what else would you buy? Because I think most of us do have Doge. $2, Ramses? It'd be nice. It would be sweet. Yes, it would be sweet. But that's huge. Demo, you've got over 100,000 at 0.006. So planning best strategy to get the most gains. Go by the calendar, hold, take some profit. Yeah, that's me too. I'm holding what I got. And we'll be looking at scraping some profits this fall. Not selling all of it though. I'm going to keep some. Just to ride through, just in case. This cycle is different, but I still have Doge. And I'm going to begin mining Dogecoin. So I'm going to be scooping up some Doge every day through mining. So that'll be fun just to experience that and get into Dogecoin mining. So that's coming. And I'll just continue to mine all the way through the bear market and just collect Doge that way. Anthony, people think Bitcoin is going to do at least a 2x from last cycle. Right. So that gets it to what? 140, right? But alts are going to just have a double top. Well, some alts will, I think, Anthony, and some won't. Again, my theory on Doge was its all-time high from last cycle was, what's the best way to put it? It was overhyped, shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have gone that high. My theory was 35 cents should have been the high of Dogecoin last cycle. And so 70 cents this time, and that would be a 2x. That's my theory. Because on the second run of Doge, oh, shut up, Siri. On the second run of Doge in 2021, the second run that Dogecoin went on, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, Doge went to 35 cents right there. 35 cents. So I'm saying that should have been the all-time high right there. That should have been it. That's when Bitcoin went to 69K, Doge went to 35 cents. And all of this craziness before that was all that overhyped Elon stuff. And I'm just saying, well, let's just discount that, right? Let's just pretend that didn't happen, right? For the purposes of this exact point, right? What should Dogecoin's price have been? Because all of that happened up here was all of that overhyped Elon stuff leading into Saturday Night Live. And look how quickly it all traded back down. Came all the way down to 16, 17 cents. But then what? Then it doubled up to 35 cents. So I say that's the all-time high for Dogecoin in 2021, according to the charts. And that all of this was blow off top. And I'm not the only one who said this. There are others who agree with that. So if you use that as a theory, right, we've already beaten that with the 48 cents we had December 2024. And if we trade up to this red line of 73 cents, then we'll be double that 35 cents. Again, just a theory. Just a theory. So what's the trend line on Doge? Well, right now, as we're looking at it, Dogecoin, this is on the weekly now, looking back, this was the big run that Dogecoin had following, Trump winning the US presidency and Elon Musk and Doge, Department of Government Efficiency and all that hype, right? So we had this green box, right? Acceleration up in price, and then it sells off. We've had two little mini runs. We had one in May and one in July in these little boxes. But there's another big box out here that we would expect Doge to have another run. And where's that? How high is that going to go? That's the trend right now. So we had the fears of the tariffs, the big sell-off. Doge came all the way down to 13 cents. Excuse me. And then the second big dip of this year was in June, where we hit like 15 cents. And since then, we've been doing higher lows. So higher lows as we come into September, and then October would begin that next big run, possibly. So that's what I'm looking at. That's the trend right now. Decentraland. Haven't thought about it much since 2021. Is Decentraland still the whole metaverse thing, Martin? Is that really going to happen? Nobody's buying stuff in the metaverse. It's just that metaverse thing was like this big thing in 2021. Like, oh, we got to buy everything in the metaverse. We got to hang out in the metaverse. That's not happening. So I don't know if Decentraland is still a thing or not. But that's what it was back in 2021. And I'm guessing we're going to see, based on its price, right? Here was the 2021 blow off, right? Up over $5. And now it's trading at 30 cents. Like we showed with the Doge on Mars, right? Is this where you want to put your money for these next few months? Do you think there's going to be a blow off top on Decentraland right now, outside of, a little run here in February 2024 into March, and a little run here in November into December 2024? Is this going to do that again, and at what rate? I don't know. It seems to have gone at least a 2x, right? Doubled in price and then back down. Of course, Dogecoin tripled in price at that same time. That could be one. It could be one this fall. We shall see. Nick says, keep it to the top 10s. It's a less risky play. But for some of us, you want to take a small part of your portfolio out on the end there and throw it into something, right? That might do a 5x, because the top 10s probably aren't going to do a 5x from here. So if ETH can get to 1 trillion, Doge will reach $2. Well, that's only a 2x. That's ETH at about $8,400, which would be a 2x for ETH. So how does Doge do a 10x when ETH does a 2x? That would be tough. If Doge does a 5x and goes to $1, that might be a little more realistic in terms of like what a blow off top could be for, the next couple months. Just that's my thought on that. For rumors of stimmy checks, I haven't. It comes and goes every now and then with all this tariff stuff, and I just don't see that happening. And if it's just for lower incomes, that's not going to move the market much. Jasmine. Yeah, Teodoro. What about Jasmine? It's been weak, down to 1.3. Right where it was first week of July again. So that's kind of what the summer's been like, right? You get a little pump, it fades back. Get another little pump, it fades back. Unfortunately for Jasmine, these are lower highs and they're now lower lows. Doesn't mean it can't wind up and go higher, because that's what the true alt season can do. I sold mine up here at 3 cents, right over 3 cents. That's where I sold my Jasmine, right there. But then I bought it way back in 2023 back here. So that was a 10x. But that was the bottom of the bear market. And again, I'll be looking at 2026, 2027 and seeing where altcoins are again to buy back in to some of the lower cap alts. I will wait until then. My goal is to take profits on everything else except Bitcoin and Doge that I'll hold. I'll take some Doge profits, but I'll let the other ride. But I'm not going to be buying back into other alts probably until end of 2026 or into 2027. Just seeing if this whole 4-year cycle thing really plays out. So that's my strategy. Buy a little BONK, little PENGU, little Pepe. Yeah, I've got the BONK and PENGU, but instead I've got pump right now. I'm riding the pump train because that's got a lot of attention to it. And then I'll sell the pump and roll that into something, probably Dogecoin. Although Dogecoin is a meme, I thought Doge was in the category of the top 10. It's both, Linda. That's the beauty of Dogecoin. The beauty of Dogecoin is that it's both. In that it is a top 10, but it doesn't trade always like a top 10 and can have these huge runs like most top 10s don't. So that's why we love Doge. Crypto the Conqueror just loaded up on more Dogecoin. Phoenix. PENGU is not the next Doge. PENGU is its own thing. There cannot be a next Doge. Doge being a proof of work cryptocurrency that PENGU is not. But PENGU can do just as well or even better than Dogecoin, but it's not the next Doge. So just clarify that. But I'm holding PENGU, and I think PENGU is going to come back. It is showing a little weakness as well right now. Called that out just a little bit ago. It's under 3 cents. So this looks like right here, the buying opportunity for PENGU for the fall run looks to be right there. If you didn't get in before the July run, this is your opportunity. Right now it's high. It's a big double top right up here at 4.5 cents, right? Which isn't even a 2x from here. And then we're in price discovery. True. But PENGU has this kind of international appeal, especially with the Asian markets, that this thing could go crazy once it starts trading, huge FOMO kicking in. So that's why I'm keeping some PENGU. Nothing against Doge. I've got 67 likes, Southport. Your screen probably needs to be refreshed to see the current number of likes. Sometimes YouTube does that, where you're watching and you don't see the actual like count. But appreciate it. Smash the likes, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hey, we're going on this journey together, right? Making money. I want everybody to make money. Everybody make money. I'm holding Anchor. I haven't heard any news about Anchor. So good luck, Hintoras. Hey, Khan, how are you? Some dude on Crypto Bros is expecting a big pump on Tuesday. Why? Why on Tuesday? I haven't heard that. Good day, DB. How are you? Does the SEC have to make a decision on the ETF in October? Yes, they do. That's the full 240 days from when the S1 and 19B4 were filed and accepted by the SEC. At the end of that 240 days, they have to make a decision, yes or no. They cannot delay it again. That's my understanding from those guys at Bloomberg. That's the way they explained it. So, October 17th is the day on the grayscale. They either accept it or they reject it. Kind of hard to think that they would reject it. Proof of work cryptocurrency, completely decentralized, fair launch, like all of that stuff behind it. So that date is that date. Mark, IPO, I think you mean, right? Never buy an IPO in crypto, let it stabilize. Exactly. I mean, look at what happened to World Liberty Finance, right? Jeez. Woo, hit $1. Just to let you guys know, there's a huge thunderstorm coming through Boston right now. If the stream goes out, blame the weather. We're getting a huge thunderstorm right now. Just to let you know, in case that happens. Not my fault. What's going to happen with this thing? What's going to happen with this thing? World Liberty Finance, huh? I'm not touching it. There's the launch date. Some people got wrecked up here buying this thing. Don't buy it. What's this thing going to do from here? Was that the bottom down at 16.5 cents? Now up to 21. I think this is going to come way back down again. Be careful. I'm not touching anything with Trump. I know, Crypto God. Hard to believe World Liberty Finance hit $1, but that was just for like a second. I think one person might have sold something at $1. And that's it. Because there was no liquidity yet. There was no craziness. Hey, Nick. Sorry if you talked about it before. I was expecting a good dip Friday. Doge is looking strong. Spent 50% of my dry powder wondering if I should have done more. Hard to say whether we're going to whether it's going to be another lower dip or not. It looks like right now this is again holding up my sloping support line here on Doge. Again, if it ever comes down below, comes right back up. So this is still in play for, again, higher lows, at least on Dogecoin. Now there's opportunities on other coins, other tokens that are lower, that are dropping lower still now than where they were on Friday or even last Monday. And kind of that's what we're talking about today right now is, are you going to maybe buy something else? Yes, Ahmed. PENGU already made that big move. BONK, pump, Doge. What's going to be the 3x? It'd be hard to believe PENGU could do another 3x. I agree. But crazy things can happen, right? Especially with these memes. Crazy things can happen. So, Jodito, next week, there's rumors that this Rex Osprey ETF for Dogecoin is going to start trading. It didn't have to go the same SEC approval route as Grayscale, Bitwise, and 21 shares. I don't know all the particulars about how that deal was done. I think there might be, just within the community, there might be some good news about it and Doge would get a little pump. But again, the Rex Osprey thing just isn't a well-known, fund manager that has access to a huge client base to buy from. So I don't think it's going to be as big a deal as what we're going to get in October with Grayscale and Bitwise for Dogecoin. Because as I said in the video this morning, it's like, and we talked about yesterday, is that Solana has an ETF through Rex Osprey. And nobody knows about it. It's not talked about. There should have been this huge deal, Solana with an ETF, and nobody talks about it. And I think this is going to be the same for Doge. Of course, the Dogecoin community is going to talk about it, and we'll all go, ooh, an ETF. But yeah, these Rex Osprey guys, they're not the big time. 3x is nothing for PENGU. PENGU could 5x. It could, Phoenix, I agree. It could. That's why I have some. I don't want to miss out on that. And that's worth having a little bit in there. Think it's real money out there to move the markets, Boss Mac. We just need better clarification on crypto. Again, the clarification or the regulation right now in the United States is all going towards stable coins. They don't care about crypto. They don't. They're letting us be. But they're talking stable coins because stable coins are backed by the dollar and they want to support the almighty dollar. That's where the US government is. The top 100 coins performance over 90 days. PENGU is number 3. IOTA, protagonist says. I haven't looked at that one in a while. IOTA. It's at 18 cents. IOTA. Again, last November too, it went on a crazy run, went up to 60 cents. So that would be a 3x from here to get back to where it was there in February. A 3x. Where Doge is about a 2.5x. But this would be a 3x just to get to there. We zoom out a little more and we see all the craziness up here at $1. The dollar was what I was targeting with IOTA. Back in 2021, that was the big support with all of that crazy trading. I just don't know. I haven't looked at the number of tokens, like how many IOTA tokens were trading in 2021 versus today. I haven't done that research. Yeah, right. Who's your daddy? I haven't heard about IOTA in years. Yeah, we were looking at it though. Somebody was asking about it. We did put it on the chart here. Somebody asked me to predict where I would think it would end this cycle, and I predicted $1. I predicted $1. So made it up to 60 cents in November. That would be a 5x from here. Maybe. Maybe. Again, I don't know the number of tokens today versus 4 years ago. I'd have to look at that. Would have to look at that. Right. Doge is the only Doge. There's no next Doge. Doge is the next Doge. It's just Doge. Exactly. Basama, how are ya? According to you, Doge will reach this year at least 40 cents by ETF effect. Yes, that's what I'm saying. 40 cents at least by the ETF. not next week's, right? It's the grayscale bitwise in October. That's what I'm predicting. Yes. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Money. That's kind of what we're in this for, right? I mean, some of us just believe in cryptocurrency, anti-bank, like all that stuff. But we're here investing our money to change our financial position in life, right? And crypto has the ability to do that. And that's why we're talking about all of these crazy numbers, right? You're not gonna get this buying mutual funds and bonds, right? You're not going to get these kinds of returns. In crypto, you can. You can. We're true crypto god. But remember, ETH, that grayscale was a futures product that had tons of money wrapped up in it that people couldn't sell. So as soon as that ETH ETF on grayscale went public, it got drained. People were selling. And all that selling pressure dumped ETH's price. Doge doesn't have that. The grayscale futures thing that was created for Doge was just made like 6-8 months ago, and there's not a lot of money in there. So it's not the same. Can't wait for the XRP ETF to be approved so I can sell my bag and then buy more Bitcoin and Doge. That's a good thing to look at. Yeah. When is that one? When is the XRP? It's the same date, I think, right? I think it is. I think it's the same date, mid-October. Oh. I think I saved this somewhere. Why doesn't X have a way to zoom in on this thing, huh? There we go. Doesn't let you zoom in very far. That didn't work. Can't zoom in enough. Yeah, I think it's mid-October, also for XRP. Ryan, what are the top 5 alts to 5X? That's what we're talking about. We don't know. Keep the Pex cat safe. Thunder streaming, yes. It is pouring out there. Pouring. Let the leverage traders take on the weird mini coins. Well, they were doing the number today. We were watching earlier. We were watching NMR and SOMI and even meme pool too. Just crazy leverage. Shorts and then longs getting taken out on those. It's a Saturday. Dogecoin might as well be a stable coin. Crypto god. Yeah, come on. Hey, Adam. Been on the journey, 2021, hodled through. Took a couple small profits here and there. Nice. Hey, Matt, how are you doing today? I'll take profits at a satisfying price. I like that. Taking profits in chunks risks me holding a large Dogecoin bag when the price plummets. Okay, you can do that. What percentage of Dogecoin are you thinking about keeping through the bear cycle? Maybe 25% of it or so. It's kind of what I'm thinking now. So about 100,000 Doge I would hold. Sell the other 300,000. Buy back in at a lower price sometime a year from now or more. That's kind of the big plan. And meanwhile, that money will sit there and like Robinhood Gold or Coinbase USDC earning 4% yield. At least get some of that. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. You're going to get that storm down there, Christoph? Yeah, it's hitting here right now. Big time. Yeah, it's true, Matt. Some people wait for the price to go lower in order to buy just endlessly, like all of this. Oh, wait till 17 cents and I'll buy then. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I might have a habit of waiting too long to sell. Nothing wrong with taking profits, right? Nothing wrong. So yeah, we'll be watching that. The ETF doesn't mean anything if there's no liquidity in the market. True. Which is why I think this Rex Osprey thing next week probably isn't going to do much. But October for Dogecoin with Grayscale and Bitwise, that might be awesome timing. Awesome timing. Yep. Big line of thunderstorms moving through. Do you guys trust the Coinbase wallet? Can I put all my coins into Coinbase wallet? You could, Ricky Man. Yeah. Just make sure that you use two-factor authentication on your phone, because you're going to have a Coinbase wallet app, right, on your phone. You'll have your seed phrase, right? They'll give you 24 words. So you'll have your 24-word seed phrase for the Coinbase wallet, but it's an app on your phone. So you got to make sure that you've got all the protections on that, as well as the protections on your phone. So you got to do Face ID, PIN, like whatever, just to get into your phone, because you got to protect that, man. You really have to protect that. And then the Coinbase wallet's fine. Since you have your seed phrase, it's your crypto. It's not Coinbase's crypto, like if you just hold it on the exchange. So, yep, it should be fine. I don't use it because I already am happy with the other wallets that I have. I did create a Coinbase wallet just to go through the process. I haven't put anything on it, but I have one created. What about Chainlink? So Chainlink, the whole Oracle narrative is awesome. Like everyone's using Chainlink, and it's been going on these great runs. I mean, look at since April, just awesome. Now the market is causing Chainlink to pull back now from 26 to 22. But this could easily go more. Could easily go more. December was up to $30. Will it double from here to go over 40? Maybe. Again, Chainlink's getting big, but for something that's continuing to be used, that actually has a utility in crypto, Chainlink is it. Hundreds of thousands of cryptos could go parabolic at any moment, but only a handful will. 2021, we saw like all the alts going, but again, there weren't anywhere near as many alts then than there are now. There's just not enough money to make hundreds of thousands of cryptos go parabolic. Not enough money. Hey, Pullman, all-time high for Doge is 73 cents. Rich, I don't know what the Bitcoin buyer bot is, but I don't do bots. Don't believe in bot trading here. Adam, you use the Coinbase wallet? Never had an issue. Yep. That's what I hear too. Near is actually one to watch. Mark, on Near. $2.39. We were actually charting this. Somebody asked about this. $6 is a kind of a reasonable price. $8 if it matches its early December high. So that's almost a 4x from here. But yeah, near really sold off. December, January into February. That was a huge sell-off. Hasn't really done much since then. Really been chopping sideways. Yes, it's October 17th for the grayscale. The Rex Osprey one that everyone's talking about isn't on the same kind of deadline thing and could start trading next week. We'll see. We will see. You know one and you're not telling? Okay. Yeah. World Liberty Finance today. Can you believe it? World Liberty Finance. It's not the best gainer of the day, though. Not the best gainer of the day. But yeah, it's at the same price as Dogecoin now. So it'll be interesting to watch them in competition with each other. But the best gainers of the day, we were watching NMR and SOMI. NMR was one we talked about yesterday. NMR. Went up over 50%, now falling back, continuing to fall back. Now only up 43% on the day. And then there was SOMI, and SOMI is up 62% on the day. Whee! And it's staying up here. I don't think the next bear will be a fun time. I kind of agree. There's a lot of negative predictions for 2026. Bear market in crypto, but also recession or recession-like talk again. And just bad economies worldwide. So yeah. Right now, Ryan, I'm in ETH, BONK, PENGU, and Pump. That's what I'm in. Still have a little Litecoin and still have all my other little ones from the KrissPax portfolio that I'll be selling. Should I rotate Jasmy into Doge at this price? Well, Crypto God, what I usually say is wait for the green candle. Wait for a big green candle on Jasmy. Don't rotate it here when they're both down, because Jasmy will have some big green candle like that. The next time Jasmy does that big green candle, that's when you should think about maybe doing your rotation. Take advantage of that kind of move in Jasmy, and you'll end up with more Dogecoin. How low will Doge go? We might have already seen it. 20.5 is what we were looking at here on Monday. And that might have been it. As we continue to post higher lows, following again this trend from the beginning of August. We've been following this trend actually since June. And that trend is still higher lows. So there's nothing in this chart that says this is dropping back down to 17 cents like Ali shows on his. Not Not seeing it. What's the bottom of the next bear? Ah, I did a video on that, Mark. Go to my channel and look under my videos and go to videos and look at this one called the Dogecoin Crypto 2-year outlook right there. That 2-year outlook video is the one you want to watch, Mark, okay? Because I did show bear market predictions in that, all right? Kilmar, everybody has different amounts of coins, right? Everybody's in a different financial position. So just do the best you can with money you're willing to risk in this crazy crypto market, right? Do what you can. Do I think the market is going to dump this week? I think it's going to be kind of a choppy week, because the week following is going to be the Fed, the FOMC, rate cuts. And then the week after that will probably be choppy again. Hey, Ricky, how do I know when is a good time to sell? That's what you got to stick around for. You got to stick around through October into November. We're going to be watching the charts, the news, what's going on, talking strategies for taking profits, like all of that stuff. That's coming. And now that we're in September, it's not that far away. Okay? What do I think about Mudang? I haven't looked at that one in a while. Mudang. Which is the one that I look at on Mudang? Mudang. So I don't want the future stuff. I don't even know which is the chart that I've used before. It should be this one. Oh, it's hardly traded on this. Well, it ain't that one. Mudang. They've got all these futures things in here. Here we go. Here's the Coinbase one. We'll use this one. 13 cents. Mudang, very weak. Oh. Mudang is not looking very strong, Kenny. Look at this. Just bleeding down since July. That's not great. That's not showing much confidence in this coin. This is lower lows. We just looked at the Dogecoin chart showing higher lows. And this is just lower lows. Look at this. That's not good. That's not good. Could it go on a run? Sure, but it's just not showing any strength right now of any kind. Hey, Blue Horse, good morning to you. How you doing? Can the institutions like Grayscale be accumulating crypto for upcoming ETFs? Or do they have to wait till it's approved? That's a great question, Adam. I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of talk about that around the Bitcoin ETF approval time. And was Grayscale, BlackRock, ARK, like all of those, were they buying Doge or buying Bitcoin leading up to the official approval and launch of their ETFs? And since they most likely were doing it all OTC, they weren't buying on exchanges. There's no record of anything. So don't know. Waiting on the Doge ETF, Javier? Yep. PENGU, DB, could be fun. X money with Doge. Yeah, not this year with Doge. Let's be happy if we just get X money, right? And if X money launches, Doge will pump in hopes that Doge will eventually be on it. All eyes on PENGU. Oh. Joshua, no, you can't use your phone to mine Dogecoin. Nope. You can't even do it on your own computer. You got to buy a mining rig. There's too much competition for those Dogecoin blocks. You need an ASIC miner, which is a separate now. I'm getting a miner. I've ordered it. It's coming. You'll be able to watch it on my channel. I'll show you the unboxing. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show you how to set it up. I'll show you how it mines. Right, so I'm getting one, which is it's a small thing. It's not like one of these giant like ant miners, right? That you need special power and all of that. So this isn't going to perform as well as one of those. You just can't have one of those at home because it takes special power. It's super loud. It's super, it's got so much heat. You need a special cooled space for it, and it's just like no. So it's coming. But yeah, I'll do the unboxing video and the setup video, and then we'll be watching, do a whole series on how it's performing. That is coming. It is coming. You just can't ignore that leverage down at 20.8. I know what you're saying, Nick. It's there. I know it's there. We looked at it. I know. Look at Bitcoin today. Just sideways, nothing. It's not taking out the leverage above or below. Not taking it out. Look at that on Bitcoin. Let's see what Doge looks like. Got to go out to like the 3-week, right? Is that the one we were looking at? Or 2-week, I mean. It's thinking about it. There we go. Yeah, there it is. $8 million. Actually, can zoom in on that. That's really more of a 1-week thing. I know, right, Nick? It's there. Boom. It's there. So yeah, there's a target on all of this. But so far, Doge is not acting like it wants to drop down and take all that out. What signs did we miss at 48 cents? That's a great question, Ryan. I think there was still a lot of positivity with the whole narrative of Trump and his inauguration, and that he was going to be good for crypto. That was the positivity that was still being talked about then. Because I remember that's what I was thinking. And I was at least going to wait until the inauguration to take my big profits, because I thought there was still going to be a pump right around inauguration. And it didn't happen. So yeah. The Mudang chart looks similar to Kaspa. BONK getting slammed. Yep. I'm just Waiting. My wife left, took the dog's house and everything, left me for dead. Got a loan for $30,000, put $17,000 in crypto, and turned that into $250K since 2022. Mark, I can sympathize. 2022 was a great year to be buying crypto. That's for sure. Sometimes the timing helps you out, right? But yeah, you knew that you needed to turn your life around financially, and look what you did. So that's awesome. I thought you already had 2 minors. Yes. No, they're not minors anymore. They're actually adults, but they're still here. I can't get rid of them. Oh. I mine by typing random numbers in the block template. Interesting. What's your plan for the bear market? What coins are you going to buy? I'm going to buy USDC on Coinbase. That's going to earn me 4% yield. And just leave the rest in buying power in Robinhood, earning 4% or whatever Robinhood Gold is still giving. And then we'll wait and we'll be patient and we'll see a year from now, right, end of summer 2026, what things look like. But I don't know yet what that's going to be. Got to let it pay out. Yes, USDC gives 4% on Coinbase. I don't know what Maneki is, ZB. Don't know. You can mine with your PC on unMineable, right? I did that a few years ago, Shane, and it took me like 3 days to get 1 Doge. It was like 3 days to get 1 Dogecoin. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I tried it though. I tried it. Rich, okay, we got it with your Bitcoin bot. Please don't, you don't need to post that anymore. And I'm not buying bonds. Bonds can go down too. I don't know what the limit is, Chadwick, on Coinbase in that 4%. I'll have to look into that. Robinhood Gold has no limit up to like $250,000 or something. All insured. No lockup period. Nope. No lockup period. They do a lockup period for some of their special deals that they do. Like right now, they're giving away like a 2%. If you transfer crypto onto their platform, but then you can't touch that crypto for 12 months. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Right into the bear market? No. Get on the bond bandwagon. No. Yeah, I just have never heard of that, ZB. Never heard of Maneki. Sorry. Still raining here. Wow. It's like dark outside. Raining so hard. But my power's on, so that's good. Still here. Still here. Okay, let's take a look. Maneki. 0.0012. I don't know what this thing is. Whoa. May 2024. April 2024 went up to 2 cents. Whoa. All right, dude, this thing is not going back to its all-time high. CB, man, come on. This thing is just fading out. You think it's going to do a 1,800%, an 18x? I don't know. Hey, it's your money. If you want to have that in here and hope for some kind of run, but it ain't going up there. Wow. Good luck. Good luck. You feel like we're in a bear market already? It's September, Chadwick. In September, year after year after year, it's a choppy month with some bearish tones to it, and we're in it. We are in it. So remember that. It's 4.5% for the first 30K, then 4.1 otherwise. Yeah. And I don't know if there's an upper limit. Daddy, I don't know. Not a bad rate for keeping your money in USDC during bear. They will change the rate, Con, guaranteed. Both Robinhood and Coinbase will lower that rate through the bear market. Guaranteed next summer, we're not getting 4%. They will lower it. Wrong coin. It's 0.001. That's what I looked at. I don't know what you're looking at. 0.001. This is it. Yeah. And it went all the way up to 2 cents in April 2024. That's it. Now it's 001. Good luck with it, man. Homegirl, how are you? I hold Doge since February 2021, never sold. That's when I first bought in. It was actually the end of January. But I finally took some profit, first last December and then January. So that Doge that I held since 2021 is now sold. All the Doge that I still have now, most of it was bought in 2022, 2023. So my average is still around 6 or 7 cents overall. Running thin on hope. Well, again, we are going to be looking this fall at strategies for taking profits. So we will be watching. I'm not ready to take profits yet this cycle at this time. We got to see what happens. October. Con, still having hope for alt season. Yeah, what's going to happen with the Russell? Because I've got half of my retirement account in the Russell, so I need that to go up. Oh. You rotated 95% of your portfolio into Bitcoin and are holding 5% Doge. The Fed fund rate. I have 310,000 PENGU. Yeah, I'm looking at like 6 cents, Dan, on PENGU. I don't know if it's going to make it to 8. That'd be nice. But we'll probably be taking profits by 6. It could go higher. At this point, I won't have the patience to wait it out and try and guess the top. So that'll be more than double my initial investment. I'll take it. Profit. At this point. Jason, really? You bought some Doge today? Really? How are you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. You're welcome, homegirl. Sure. Stick around. We'll be going through this together this fall, seeing where these prices go, seeing what the news is. September can be bumpy, but October, I am thinking it's going to be good. Myro, M&M says. Let's see what Myro's up to. Myro, which we were looking at MEXC, I believe, on Myro. 2.2 cents on Myro. This one has also been slowly bleeding out. Again, how many of these that have the same kind of chart? How many of these are going to get enough attention over the next 2 months, to make some kind of big spike up? I don't know. I don't think there's going to be enough new money coming into crypto for all of these tokens to do these crazy runs. And this has no momentum right now. It's just no momentum. And that's kind of what I'm watching right now. It's like, I mean, at least Dogecoin is printing higher lows all the way from April and June. This one is not. It's just goes on these little runs and just sells off. I don't know. Good luck. Good luck with Myro. There's a 10% chance of that now, Con, of a 50 basis point cut. It's a 10% chance. Well, it was 11% this morning. Let's see if it's still 11. 10 more days. Yep, still 11. Still 11% chance. I don't think the Fed has it in them to do a 50 basis point. I think they will be conservative, again, because of the unknown fears of tariffs. That will be mentioned, and they will do the safe, conservative 25 basis point cut, as I predicted 6 months ago. They would do that in September. And here we are, 10 days away. You think the AI narrative is going to be big? We've been talking about that for 2 years. Remember, Fetch AI was going to do all these great things. And then there was that big, Fetch and Ocean and Immutable all joined together to become one. And nothing happened. So I don't know. Good luck. AI3. I don't know what that is. AI3. Kraken and MEXC. This is a new one. This has only been around for a little over a week. There's not enough here to really talk about anything. Up 25% today. What's this thing going to do? I don't know. Who knows exactly? Exactly, Scott. Who knows? Hey, worth taking a little flyer on, right? Out at the end of your portfolio, right? Put a little bit into this and see what happens. Yeah, but the whole AI narrative in crypto, I still don't get it. Jobs are cropping the bed. Fed is late. 25 will be too little, too late. They won't do an emergency cut. They'll wait till October. And then they'll do another 25 basis point cut. Again, too late, but that's what I think they will do. If CPI comes under expectations next week, then maybe that 11% goes up. True, Con. Yep. Yeah, we could see this spike up. I think the bad job numbers were enough to convince them. But they don't want inflation numbers too high, because then that's not good to cut rates. So you kind of want inflation to be steady. But yeah, under expectations, right? So it's actually lower inflation than their expectations. Yes, then we might. We might. Sitting on many tokens worth nothing. Yeah, I've got a few of those too. I got a few of those. You take a chance at the time and you don't know. That's why some just stick with the top 10 or top 100, because they're not going to go to zero. They might not. Some of them won't do very well, but they're not going to go to zero. If they made it at the top 100, that means there's enough community behind it, enough liquidity behind it where it's not going to go to zero. See you, Con. Have a good weekend. The interest rate cut will make crypto go nuts. Well, maybe not nuts, Dan, but it will. That will be a sign for risk on investing, and crypto should do well. Yes. Yep. All right, gang. That's what we got. Hey, Dogecoin came back up to 21.5 cents. So we ended up with some green candles here at the end of the day. So yeah, a little dip, but then recovery back for Doge. Not bad. We will check out Sunday afternoon. I will be starting a little later on Sunday than I normally do. So that's just because there is a New England Patriots football game. I'll be with some friends watching the game tomorrow on Sunday, and then we'll come on after the game. So maybe around 5 o'clock my time, something like that. And we'll check in end of the weekend and have our outlook for the week ahead. So everybody watch for that. I hope everyone has a great rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It's at an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.